Welcome to this week's session 6 of the Pallid Triptych. Thank you for returning. We rejoin our team of investigators let's see, last time, 2 weeks ago, we had them destroy the second painting at the bank, possibly burning down an entire floor of the bank. They kind of fled the scene before we really saw what the damage was. The newspaper reporter, Nat Lewis, and JD, the photographer, went to the call bulletin to put the stories together and maybe find some photos to put into print. And Corinne had to leave us early in the session. So the next kind of action bit that we focused on towards the end, after Robin and Eugene had a very comfy sleepover at JD's place. They were up early and over to Warren's house. Warren is the art agent for Robin's brother Ernest, and Warren was home and rudely awakened at a very early hour by Robin pounding on the door. She grilled him to get the answers she needed to what he knew about her brother's death, what influence he'd had over her brother's descent into crazy cultist paintings. And she got some, amicable answers. Things were going roughly in the right direction when Eugene comes storming down from the one of the rooms upstairs in the house with a crate of Ernest's belongings. Eugene drops them in front of Robin. Robin discovers that one of the books that corrupted her brother's art influence had actually been taken out of the library by Warren and then passed on to her brother. So all his denials that he was the corrupting influence went flying out the window. The two of them, Eugene and Robin, had been pouring through the stuff in the crate and may have taken their eye off of Warren for a moment as he backs towards the fireplace, puts his hand on a poker, just in case things go a little wrong. In that team of people, JD had been helping Eugene to form a small bonfire of the arts outside of Warren's home. Her actual actions may have not been completely in support of Eugene's plan to burn everything, but when Eugene storms downstairs with the crate, JD is left alone upstairs. We'll touch on that shortly as we get into session 6. Let's welcome the rest of the players on screen if they're not already. Yep. Hi, everybody. Welcome back.
Hello.
Good evening.
So, Corinne, that's kind of what we got up to in your absence.
Okay, so you're about to burn down a house.
No. A small fire in the backyard is my understanding.
Okay, there's some fire, and we got Warren as more than just a suspect now. He's a prime suspect.
Prime suspect, yeah.
Which is interesting because I didn't think he actually had anything to do with that. I'm quite surprised. That's quite nice. But yes, what is Nat doing? Am I just gonna waltz in on all of this?
In my head, you've been burning the midnight oil, getting all of your stories written up for the coming of the print. So you've got your story for the Friday edition, which is about the Thursday night massacre at the church, but you've probably also written up the stuff you were going to put in for the obituaries over the weekend. The financial pages over the weekend about the banker, and then a specific obituary entry for the banker himself. So you had quite a bit of work, and then probably had some other investment in what was going on at the paper. After that, you probably just went home to rest. And you will no doubt catch up with the others at a reasonable hour Friday. So we started all this.
Whatever they're doing. So let's continue our scene.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be news to report about a burning bank, for instance. So who knows? Maybe you could be on that scene at some point. But yeah.
Did they actually manage to destroy the bank?
Nearly.
Is that on record? It's the trail of witnesses that I want to keep playing as NPCs in cutscenes. You know, meanwhile, the taxi driver is phoning in. Yeah, there were two of them in the back of my car, and she said his name was Eugene, and they were going to do some devious deeds at the bank, or the bank security guard.
So did you end up burning the bank? Is my question, because I don't think I was there for that.
Yeah.
So when they found the painting of the bank, and Dave, do you want to recap what you remember that scene?
I mean, in my defence, the extra flammable material that was added that made the blaze go out of control was not added by me. That was a thing that happened because of the painting trying to walk away from the fire.
So the security guard had put a lantern down in the middle of the room when they went up to investigate. The painting falls over. Dave douses it in accelerant to burn the painting. But in the process of it doing that, the ghouls started to crawl their way out of the back of the painting, off of the wrapped paper that was behind the painting. And so Dave ends up being attacked by one of them. Whilst that's happening, another one's trying to crawl out, but the flames engulf it. But the one that got out, the one that got towards Eugene, had a very suspicious, and I'm going to come back to you to ask you a colour, because you were instrumental in picking the colour, had a very auspicious paint daub down its side, which identified it to Dave, even though it was now made out of the brown wrapping paper rather than the wallpaper and plaster. This thing was a repeat appearance of the ghoul that Eugene fought at the Monkey House.
Yeah.
So Corinne, just for our benefit, have you got a particular colour that you think it was?
Yeah. The mural of the little.
So you splashed a tin of paint around. Are you particularly first what color it was?
Color. What color should I make it? I mean, was it off-white or was it like something more nice? Like maybe like a nice baby blue.
Blue. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if the painting man shows up again, I'm ready for him.
Indeed. Okay, so
yes, you guys continue with your craziness.
Perfectly sane, I'll have you know. It's the world that's gone insane.
Okay, so in Warren's front room,
exposure do you have?
in Warren's front room, Helen and Dave, you are still investigating the crate. But in the room with you is Warren, and you've now got, I think, somewhat significant proof that Warren had a corrupting influence on your brother's artwork, which he was kind of trying to dodge and deny when you were interviewing him.
So, Warren, this book here, does this look familiar to you?
Yes.
How does it look familiar to you?
Obviously, in my role as an art agent, I have to be familiar with such works.
And I see you borrowed it from the library. Oh, before Ernest did. How interesting. And tell me the title of this book. Would you like to read it for me?
I'd love to, but I think I said in the last episode, as a GM, I've not actually got a title that I can give you.
I thought you had one.
I kind of fluffed one at the end of the episode just to fill it in there. But basically, it's like the use of peyote in traditional art forms of the South Americas. It was a tribal art and use of traditional medicines combination title. But basically, yes. When you flick through, you assess that it was to do with the use of hallucinogenics in art, but also in the materials for art, so that the experience that the painter would have could be passed on to those that view the painting.
So, seems very interesting to me that you read this first. Why did you have much access to art made with hallucinogens?
He's just unable to answer that. He fumbles over his words. And you've got him. Now you, in the end of the last session, I didn't make this clear enough at the time, but you did a test against him to get him to the point where he was flustered and unable to answer questions or contradict himself. You ended up with an effect dice of D10, and all campaign you guys have been going, what stress can we add? What stress can we add to our dice roll? This is where you created stress. You put a D10's worth of stress on Warren, social interaction type stress, right? Which means that whenever you're testing against him, basically he has that for you to add to your dice pools whenever you now roll against him. So that's a measure of just how flustered he is, how unable to come up with a cover story and solve this. So he's trying to dodge your question more than answer it. It's just an art book. You can't read too much into this, but he's doing it with a tremble in his voice, a tremor that you can tell he's struggling to hold it together.
I can't read too much into this. I can't read. I mean, unbelievable. What did you do to him? What did you do to Ernest? What did you make him do?
I've not done anything. He read the book of his own accord. He was interested in the things that I was reading.
And you didn't stop him?
Stop him reading a book.
Stop him using what was in the book. What did he do with those paintings? How many paintings like that has he done?
How do we stop the painty man?
Yes, good point.
Do
you know what's happening with those paintings, Warren?
What do you mean?
Do you know those paintings are coming alive and killing people? And not just one person, not two people. A whole young choir at a church have died because of those paintings, because of the shit you put in Ernest's mind and encouraged and made flourish and brought to life and then went on and sold.
Okay, I'm gonna get a test to see how this turns out, because there's two ways this could go. So give me a second. I will put some dice on screen. I'm going to go with Warren's own character sheet because he is a NPC of note.
Where the hell is that?
So let's have a look.
No.
So Warren's going to try and keep something from you.
Right.
So this is your opportunity to set the difficulty for how well you're going to investigate, and then I have to beat that roll.
Okay. Oh, right. There we go. I found it. All right. So he's going to try and keep something from me.
Yeah.
So basically, I am therefore trying to achieve. God, confession. I haven't clicked the right box. Okay. So.
Do you have mythos stress at the moment? You do. Oh, I can use that then.
So, all right. I would like to use my intellect because I feel this is very intellectual.
Yeah, you're seeing through his act.
Yeah.
You're wise enough to look at your intellect.
Okay, I am going to use my art history because I think that is relevant in talking to him.
Mhm.
I'm using my distinction to help, and I'm very much using the fragile but fierce. She's definitely fierce
Yeah, you're
at the moment.
confrontational now. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, is Warren Palmer my asset an asset at the moment?
You've got inroads. You understand him. You've had dealings with him. You can use that against him.
Yep. So that's a D8. And then I've got T to Hen of stress on him, yeah?
Yeah. I get a feeling this is going to be difficult for him to win. Though a D10 in my Doom pool is very nice. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's not fair. All right, so I
look
make...
at your other D10.
Yeah, right, I know, but 19 then to beat.
Okay, and I believe you had a D6 in Mythos stress.
Yeah.
I have not beaten.
Get a plot point for the.
Yes, I've given you a plot point. I gave her a
you.
plot point for the D10. I've not yet added it to the Doom pool, but I will do in a second. So you've rolled a 15.
No. Oh no, because I can only use 2 dice. Yeah.
I mean, you can keep
15.
an extra one if you pay a plot point. You can pay a plot point to.
Yeah, we'll do that then. I'll have 19, please.
But I'm going to be honest. Look at my dice pool in response, which by rights you should.
Yeah. That's fine. I'm just going to give. I counted it in already, so I'll give you the plot point back. So 19.
Okay, fair enough. I appreciate that. The attempt by Warren then comes nowhere near. I mean, I will. I can get to 14, and you're still better than me by a count of 5. So I'll just lose at that. Yeah, Warren has failed to keep up with your badgering requests, and when you tell him what happened at the church, you see on his face an actual moment of glee from hearing how many people died. And you spot it. You're looking right into his face as it lights up.
You're a monster. You're a monster. Why would you do this? Why would you have Ernest do this?
I'm going to cut from that to JD. Okay, JD, when Eugene stormed out with the crate, you were left still in Warren's room, continuing to search for artwork or any other evidence. So it's down to you to rummage through the rest of the room. So this was the bedroom. Dave saw the crate by the bed, and pretty much that was as far as he needed to go with that. Took the crate down, having recognized what it was. To you, that didn't make much sense. You hadn't seen the crate before. You hadn't been to Ernest's room. But you're left to your own devices here. What kind of stuff would you be looking for?
Oh, you know what I'm going to be looking for. Any sorts of dirt I can find. Journals, diaries, secret stash under the bed, all sorts of stuff. Okay,
well, you're quite disappointed, to be honest, as there doesn't seem to be anything on the bedside table. There's nothing under the bed. As you start to open some of the drawers, they're all empty too.
Everything's empty.
You get to the wardrobe, and there's something in there. It's a sizable suitcase, like a traveling case.
Oh, I open it.
Okay, so I mean, you open this large case, and there's relatively neatly folded clothes and some notebooks, some sketchbooks, and then there's a Hessian bag sort of tucked to one side, which seems to have something blocky inside it.
Check the sketchbooks. Grab the
Sure.
bag.
Okay. So first off, before we go into the bag, I'm going to need you to take a mythos check for me. I don't think you've got any mythos stress at the moment, and we're only looking at a 12 to get it. But let me just check. If you have got any, I'll be rolling that in addition. You don't.
Dice pool. Right, this is going to be alertness. Oh shit.
So as you flick through the page, so just while you're putting your dice pool together, I'll tell you what you're looking at. The sketchbooks are all Ernest's. They are all so they're all Ernest's sketchbooks, and they contain all the preliminary work he did for the 3 paintings. So there are sketches of the main figures that are in the paintings. There are diagrams of the forms that he uses to produce the images and the people that are in there. There are photos that he's had developed of churches that he's been to for like the how do pews look, how do stained glass windows work, that kind of. So the research materials that he's put into the book. There are notes written in about how to mix the drugs that he uses for the visions in with the paint. So he's made notes about the combination values that he needs for all of that. And of course, as you get deeper into the second book, you're seeing more finalized outline sketches for the actual painting themselves. So by the time you've looked through most of the book and got a gist of what they are, you've been re-exposed to not just the end product, but the source material for each of the paintings. And therefore,
if it's to do with the sketchbooks, can I use photography as like?
I mean, if you are literally
speciality?
taking photos of every page and stuff, then yeah, of course you're using the photography equipment. If you're documenting
the
all
whole
this again,
premise of what I'm thinking is she makes sketchbooks. Technically, like it's a art form, so you take sketchbooks and make things like that.
I think the so is this the still photography that you're using though?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is in reference to when you're doing photography things rather than that's some sort of art or artistry or other tie-in. Looking at a book isn't photography.
But the book is a sketchbook. Otherwise, I'm not gonna fight this. Can I make a new one which is snooping?
Sure, that will be. I suspect, is that going to be D6?
Yes.
Yeah, you've taken both your D8s. So yeah, okay. I can put that in for you while you're putting your dice pool together.
Oh, okay. I'm going to use the fixate on details, and
seems to fit.
I no longer know
you
what
can
my
use the
assets
fixate
are.
on details.
There they are.
Again, if you're using your camera equipment to take photos of all of this, then yes. But, to beat a
I don't think I've beaten any.
12, you're not doing that, are you? No.
No.
So
why did I only roll 3? I normally roll about 5.
So you usually would have your asset in there, and then if there's a stress on something, you would be able to roll that as well.
I've never rolled a stress before. Okay, no, that's fine. I'm just maybe I
don't think I'm missing anything, but yeah. So that's going to step up your mythos stress. You have been exposed to the mythos.
Yeah, you get your 1d6 mythos stress.
We've been there before. We've been there before, but I don't think it's going to be so easy to get rid of for most of this session. So yeah, you find that he's got a suitcase packed for travel, and in it he has 2 of the sketchbooks relevant to the production of the paintings. Then you move over to that Hessian bag and you open that and find a large impressive, huge wad of money.
Oh, that's going in my pocket.
I mean, we're talking about, this takes up about half of the suitcase of cash.
I'm gonna take a lot of it in my pocket then. I've got
Fair enough.
my camera equipment with me. You don't
Yeah.
think I'm gonna keep that as much as I can? I'll like shove it in with my equipment
Okay.
as much as I can. I am a great person.
You're obviously deserving of this cash. You found it, finders keepers. And at least it's not
Exactly.
going on the bonfire.
Oh God, yeah, we need to keep it. And then the next thing I'm gonna do is take the notebooks.
Sure. Okay.
Just inspect,
So-
inspect the notes to make sure they're not like forgeries with little pallid ghouls for the president.
You know
For
what?
the
I had
president.
that exact thought, and I thought, nah, that's the sequel.
I'll just put it in my stuff then for Pallid Man 2.
Yeah, sure.
Money.
Yeah. So yeah, you reckon there's maybe anything up to about $1,000's worth of cash here, and you've managed to pocket at least $200-300 worth of bills. And
Nice.
I'm scaling at random here because that sounds like it would have been a lot back then. But yeah, basically you've got months and months worth of wages in your pockets, just by grabbing a couple of handfuls of this.
That's a good point.
Hey,
like,
I
so
have
out
a
of
very
character.
expensive hobby. Thank you very much.
So out of character for you to be stealing money off of someone.
Hey, it's just my character choices.
If you'd ever
with-
made a different choice, I'd accept it was a choice, but it's not a choice, is it?
Shush,
With that-
pyromaniac.
With that information literally in your pockets, what do you want to do with it?
I don't know. I just got all this information, some sketchbooks and a notepad. I think I'm just going to try and walk out, see what's going on with the others. If
Okay,
there's an
so you
argument going on, I'm just going to go out to the bonfire.
I am not dealing with that.
Oh, I tell you what, sorry, there was one other thing I should have thrown in there, and this is relatively key, so I apologize that I've held on to this and buried the lead. You also find air tickets for a flight to Europe.
Oh, I take those.
Can I use them? Go to Europe.
Possibly. You don't know. She needs good.
Got cash, she's got spending money.
Oh God, what have I done?
She's
She's
gonna walk
doing
out
it
the door and not look back.
with all the notepad, with the notebooks
mean,
and sketchbooks. It's going to be terrible. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I
maybe
had-
not
I'm not-
do that right now. Just we want to do this story.
I'm not saying that I had a plan for if anybody needed to write themselves out early in this episode, but I had a plan for if anybody needed to write themselves out of this episode early. But it's right, it's there. You don't have to use them there for midday tomorrow, Saturday. So they're not. You don't have to rush to get there and use the tickets.
I've got the tickets. I've got cash.
Yeah.
I got my equipment and a suitcase. What clothes are in there?
So they're business suits, casual wear for Warren. If you dig through, yeah, no, it's just business wear and casual wear. I was thinking, do I throw in a cultist robe down there? But we kind of had that problem. We kind of had that problem when I described him as wearing a robe. That was also something Corinne missed last time. He answers the
That
door
is
in a
his
robe.
cultist robe. He uses
Right,
his.
and I meant like he was wearing like a bedrobe, like a dressing gown.
Yeah,
But everybody
and he-
leapt on that straight away. He's a cultist. He's wearing a robe.
He just uses his dressing gown as a cultist robe. It's fine.
Yeah, I get it.
She's not going to go as far as stealing the entire suitcase.
Yeah.
Just a lot of cash, some tickets, and some notebooks.
Good. 1 second, guys.
So let me get this right. You have sketchbooks, you have money, and you have plane tickets.
Yes.
What is it going to take to keep JD where she is?
Hey, she's got some acquaintances that are close, almost friends. She wants to make sure they're okay.
That's true. That's true.
But if shit goes down, she's probably going to skip town.
Europe is lovely.
Yeah, this time of year.
Plenty of places to photograph. And now you
And
have
so
the money
you'll-
to set yourself up, nice little photo studio, a new life, a fresh outlook. I'm quite jealous.
It's great.
I'm going to ask, let's take the 10-minute break now. It may be longer than 10 minutes, but that kind of time scale. We're going to brush teeth and put somebody to bed. It won't be me. And then and then we'll pick up again shortly. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Back with you in a moment. And welcome back. And thank you for your patience again. For Unca's benefit, I won't be reading The Pallid Man to my daughter until she's much older. She can watch these videos view on demand. So please do remember to rewind them for her benefit. What I'm hoping is eventually Dave will take the long-standing hint that I gave him when his kids were young and I bought his kids all the Cthulhu Mythos baby books, that maybe he'll reciprocate and do the same some Christmas or birthday coming up for Amelia. But
Surely the Mage baby
that,
books.
Yeah.
I mean, why would it be
too,
Cthulhu? I mean,
but you know, that the hint I gave him wasn't to get the Mage books. That's not what I'm saying. I bought Adam.
If I'm gonna influence your child with an alien religion, I think I'm gonna send her a load of My Little Pony stuff.
To be fair, I mean that's hardly going to break anybody's heart at this end of the story. Okay, so I'm not sure that JD is actually going to fly off to Paris, not in the immediate future, but that option has definitely been opened up. The one minor fact about those tickets that I didn't maybe emphasize until just now is it's multiple tickets. There are 2 tickets in the suitcase. So that might be an important point to follow up on. And
Painting Man with him.
And
she may have someone to take with.
Sure,
they may be made out of paint, who knows?
So JD was going to bring this information downstairs and find the others. So let's switch back to the parlor. Warren, gleefully unable to hide his feelings about the massacre at the church. Helen, you had Robin basically screaming at him in fury at his callous, monstrous nature.
So hang on, can I be clear here? When you say he's gleefully unable to hide, does that mean he's gleeful at all the deaths in the church and it was evident on his face when we described it?
Yes, he was unable to hide that emotion.
I misunderstood. I thought that he'd actually been shocked by it. My bad. I'll have the appropriate reaction now. Carry on.
thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
What have you done?
He realizes that he totally fumbled that, and brings the poker out in front of him in a defensive posture.
Immediately try and
stay back.
I'm going to immediately try and grab the poker and wrestle with him, and then we're going down some stairs in a minute.
I mean, this is going to involve dice unless you want to relent.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm.
So he is trying to hold on to the poker. You are trying to take it off of him. I think we'll start this as a challenge. This is where you can keep rolling dice to try and beat the other person until somebody gives up.
Can you just remind me what else was in this room, please?
So we haven't really described the room immensely, but of import so far. Fireplace. Yeah. Fireplace tools as he's picked up the poker.
Yeah.
Probably some sort of comfy seating. There'll be a coffee table, maybe some coffee table magazines or books or pamphlets or whatever. I mean, this is a front-facing room with windows out onto the road, the street in front of the house. I can't think that there's anything key, and this wasn't one of my pre-planned scenes, so I don't have scene distinctions for you. But it's a comfortable room, somewhat cluttered with furniture. The furniture looks breakable. If you want any of those to be distinctions you would wish to use, feel free to say, I'm using that as a distinction, take it as a 4
that's
or
fine.
an 8. There are still a few pre-prepared scenes with some of those distinctions, and I'm hoping to hit those shortly. Right. So Warren's going to roll to establish your fight over the... Let me see. So you actually defeated Warren in a test earlier. So his catalyst dice goes down. I'll change that to a D6. That makes it even easier for you to keep fighting him. use the poker defensively is his task. Submit that. Does his distinction help? I don't think it's going to. I think he doesn't have one. I love his distinctions. But no, he doesn't have a helpful distinction. I will put that therefore down as a hinder. That when a NPC takes a hinder, it steps up the smallest dice in the Doom pool, which I think at the minute is a D6. So I have that to do as well for Doom pool admin. And you have relevant specialty.
Everything seems to benefit the Doom pool in this.
No,
We've not been doing anything to stop it. That's why we basically.
No, but like, oh, he takes a hindrance. Well, that benefents. No, he should just take a hindrance and have a hindrance.
I don't use plot points.
Well, I suppose, but
yeah. I'm going to say that the poker is a D6, and Dave, you have at least a D8 in Mythos.
Yes.
All right, yours is a D8.
Yeah.
Thank you. So his dice pool looks a bit like this, which isn't that impressive. So I'm going to spend that Doom pool dice that I had to include a third dice. So I'm going to get a 10.
Do I get the D10 of stress it's got added onto mine?
Yes, you do. For free. But I'm going to keep 3 dice. So I'm spending the dice that I just benefited from out of the Doom pool to keep a
10.
third dice to get 10.
So you're at 10, yeah. Oh my lord.
I mean, Dave succeeds.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to spend a second to do Doom pool because I already had a D10 I needed to add that I hadn't. I've lost my D6
points here. Is that right?
You are going to get 2 plot points. I'm now adding a D6 and I'm adding another D10. So I think it's worth posting what's in the Doom pool because it's getting messy otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I succeed. So I'm like,
yeah. So you wrestle it off of him on a 13. So you've got hold of it, and he is somewhat panicky. But I think I can beat that, Dave. So I'm going to give it a counter roll. If it goes wrong, sorry, go on.
So Robin is going to pick up a vase that will be there because he's an art historian. Yep. And she's going to smash him over the head with it while he's distracted wrestling.
Then in which case, can I suggest he rolls to see if he beats Dave?
Mm-hmm.
And if he does, Dave can add in your asset to his dice pool as an assist. And that can either be you pay a D6 to create the asset, or you can add in one of your own traits as an asset you can use.
Okay.
We'll come to that in a moment. So Warren's going to counter, trying to steal it back. And he does not have a helpful distinction. So my D6 is going up to a D8. Do you have a relevant specialty? He does not. He doesn't have the poker anymore, and Dave's stress is at 8 still. Ooh, well, that's not good for me. So I was trying to beat a 13. I have failed.
I'm going to take an extra plot point. Just can. I can't say.
You can spend a plot point to take that D4.
Oh, that was it.
But I don't think you're going to need to. He's failed to roll.
D4,
so you've snatched the poker away from him because he has not beaten you. He has lost. Because he's lost, that's bad. That's very bad for him. It's not a set of rules I need to go into for you guys, but he is one of the catalyst characters in this story. And you've just taken his catalyst value down to a D4, making him effectively ineffective for this story. Very easy to defeat. And his stress has gone up to a D12 because he just lost the test against Dave. So you didn't get a chance to bash it over his head, but you can easily do that now. You could easily knock him out. And I'm happy with the amount of stress that's on him and the fact that he is so weakened by the successes you guys have got. But if you just step up behind him, Helen, Robin just clomps him one. He's out.
She will. She will.
Okay.
She will absolutely clump him on.
Warren is out for the count, and inactive in the rest of this scene, and depending on what we now do with that unconscious body, possibly for the rest of this story.
How big was the poker in terms of dice?
So I made it a D6 asset,
Right.
Which
Okay.
did cost me a dice from the Doom pool. So I will drop that and adjust the Doom pool. And
Are you
let
okay,
guys-
Eugene?
I'm okay.
Oh, well done. Oh,
And at this point, we'll have JD enter the room, basically seeing the vase smash over his head and slump to the ground, as then Robin checks to see if Eugene is okay. JD's in the room. I'm aware, Corinne, you're also kind of not in the scene yet. We're going to be bringing you in. We'll reconnect shortly.
Oh, guys, what? Whoa, what
I
happened?
don't understand. Just don't. He's behind it. He's behind. He knows. He knows what was happening. He enjoys what is happening. I told him about that choir dying, and he laughed. He laughed in enjoyment. I don't know what's going on. I found this book. It's about painting and hallucinogens, and I think that's how the paintings come alive, but it makes no sense to me. How are they able to come alive and like attack?
Beats me. May I have a look at the book? Maybe I
Sure.
know the author.
Okay, here. I mean, it's a library book. I know.
I don't know. Who's
Eugene?
the author? Let me rephrase. Would JD recognize the author's name? Is it a big author or a little author, essentially?
So it's somebody within a specialized field. So it's unlikely something that you've crossed paths with. It's initials of O.F. Gilberto is the name of the author, but in and of itself, the book is relatively innocent. I mean, yes, its contents have been used to produce something that probably the author had no intention of.
What has JD brought into the room with her, just out of interest?
She's got a sketchbook and the notebooks under her arm,
Yeah.
and I don't know if anyone would see the money.
Nah.
Depends
But
on whereabouts you
all the
stowed it. But I'm thinking
tickets.
in your.
She would have hid those real good.
Okay.
Did you find more books upstairs?
Yeah, there was a suitcase. Nothing else. I think someone was gonna skip town, to be honest.
Of course he was.
But yeah, I found these notebooks and the sketchbook. I wouldn't recommend going through it, but I mean,
The sketchbook or the note? Can I look at the notebook?
I don't know. I've not read the notebook because
let
I
me
didn't
look
have
at-
time.
No, that's fine. Let me look.
Yeah.
Is it Ernest's notebook?
No, this is notes by Warren. Most of it seems to be about various art deals or contact details for some of the other people he's agent for. Mostly it's closure of the accounts that he has with those agents, making sure that he's tied loose ends up on that front.
Okay.
There are plans for a trip and tour around various sites in Europe, and mentions of somebody called G, just the letter G.
When I look through to the later things, are my brother's paintings noted down as being sold and who they've been sold to?
Yeah, so there's I mean, to some degree, there's financial tracking of how much money he has spent. He has collected for the paintings, and it's, fees have been appropriated. He's taken possession of the money.
And can I see, apart from the 3 that I know about, has he sold any of any other works of my brother before those 3?
So this notebook doesn't seem to go far back.
Okay.
It seems to be that this is notes about closing of accounts, finishing things up in San Francisco, and plans for his
I get you.
departure and where he's going. So as part of that, the sale of the 3 paintings
Was part.
is listed, and that seems to be the last of his.
He looks like he's
work
leaving.
as an agent.
He looks like he's preparing to leave. Like, that makes sense now. I couldn't understand why he was so keen for us to sell my brother's paintings. Like, I mean, my mum just didn't want to have anything to do with it. So, and he was going to Europe with a G. Who is a G? No,
No idea.
Oh,
Maybe someone Warren? No, your brother knew as well. Maybe someone at
but
the flats, or
what, the monkey house?
Uh,
Could be.
I'm not sure.
Could be. Oh, that's a good point. What time of day is it now?
So this was ridiculously early. So
Yeah.
it's probably not even 9 in the morning yet. And this is on Friday.
Hmm. What do we do?
We've still got the other painting we can go and find. I have an idea where it is.
Oh,
Frank Lanza?
yeah. Yes. The guy with the woman whose bodyguards didn't want pictures taken. Do you know him?
I believe I do. I think Mike said that. Did you say that last time, Mike? I didn't know him.
So you know of him. You've not got direct dealings, but he's the mob boss
He's
in San Francisco.
He's high up in the mob. He's probably
He's like the
mob boss.
Godfather
He's head of the
San
mafia.
Francisco.
He's bad news, but we still need to get that painting.
JD, did you look through those sketchbooks?
Yeah.
She says, wiping the spittle from the corner of her mouth. Yeah.
Are they all related to the 3 paintings we've seen, or is there any other things in there?
Probably need somebody with a little bit more art expertise to see if there was anything else planned from those, but
pass them over. I mean, I don't know, like, Eugene, you're burning stuff, burn stuff. I don't know what we do with him.
What about this sketchbook? I don't want to take any chances with sketches of these things.
Yeah, I know, but I need to check that those 3 are the only 3 that, because there might be other paintings out there.
Well, you go through that. We'll start the fire going, and then when you're happy,
And what the hell do we do with him? I'll work on this. You work that out.
Have a very sharp metal stick and a lighter.
I think that will help you start a fire. I'm not sure that will deal with him.
Well, it depends on what. Never mind.
okay. So whilst they go to see to the bonfire in the back garden, Robin takes a look through her brother's final 2 sketchbooks. Yeah?
Yeah.
So can we look at you beating a 16? What am I doing? I'm sat here with a doom pool full of dice.
Yeah.
Can you try and beat a 20, please?
A 20.
I have just spent a D8 in the Doom pool so I can keep an additional. In fact, yeah, because I can take the 6 and the 10 and spend the D8 to get the D6 and add it in. So my Doom pool currently is 4 and 4 on the D8s and the D10s.
Right. Oh, I really hate that it goes on to a different screen. Right, knowledge.
So you're looking, and again, whilst you're building your Doom pool, I'll do the same as I did for Spider when we did this.
Okay, can I ask, like, part of me wants to use intellect, but can she actually brace herself for looking at the book? She knows.
Yeah, you're certainly prepared and aware that this.
So
this
can I use my
coming here.
willpower for this?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Right. So you're looking at this with intent, concentration.
Yeah.
And yeah. So the and I think your second coping mechanism is as valid as your first. Either is good, but
yeah, I think she's definitely looking to blame now. So
yeah, you've got that on your side. So the sketchbooks contain preparatory work for the 3 paintings that you are aware of, and from everything you can see, there's no other indication that other paintings in this series exist. So at least reassuringly, that is in your favor. But you still got to beat a 20 on dice roll, or you can just relent, having seen that, and not try to roll the dice, and just go, I can't beat that, and just take the hit.
No, let me try.
Okay.
So is an asset either info from Warren or Warren? Are either of those assets in this case?
I'm not sure I see the connection, but I think you could call it, yeah.
Well, I mean, it is in sense that she now knows what Warren's plan was, and now she is suspicious that he was getting her brother to create stuff specifically for this in mind. So I think she's looking at it in a lot more, not from an art point of view, but from a lot more looking at details of things he might have included that would have, made those pictures come alive.
Put that in, and if you're successful, because I still think that's pretty unlikely, but if you're successful in beating the target number, I'll give you something that ties a lot more information together.
Okay, so I'm gonna do that. Target have any stress? No.
No, this is just a roll against Mythos.
Yep.
So no.
That's fine.
Okay. I mean, that's a pretty good roll. That's a pretty good roll.
Yeah.
It's not.
I can't do a re-roll with a plot point, can I?
You can't get no.
And you got 20 or 9? You got 20.
I got 20.
Yeah, that's fine. So there's no point
like I say,
using
really
it.
good. If you just spend the plot point to get the total in, you were close, but no.
Yeah.
So I've given you your plot point for that, and I will take the dice and add that to the Doom pool, which is now 5d8 and 4d10. And you're stepping up your Mythos now to a d8 Mythos exposure.
Okay.
Okay.
But reassured, it's only those 3 paintings.
Yeah. Your primary investigation of that book confirms. No, I don't leave doubt here. There are 3 paintings. That is all the paintings that you need to concern yourselves about.
Okay.
So the information that you would have got as a player, I'll give this anyway, but you don't act on this, it's clear from the combination of these books that there's enough information in here to reproduce this art style. And the influence that this would have would probably be more sinister than even the book that you found in the case, in the packing case. Add that to the fact he was planning to go to Europe, I think you could have deduced, but maybe your character hasn't put this together in her current mind frame, that he was intending to spread this to a new arena in Europe when he went there.
Okay. So she's going to walk out with the library book and the sketchbooks. She's going to hold on to Warren's notebook for now.
Yeah, okay. To be fair,
and-
there was nothing in that in itself produces any mythos response.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
yeah,
probably
no,
safe
but
to not fear.
yeah, exactly. So, and I assume the fire is
Oh yeah, by now you're
Hearty.
walking out into the early morning light
of the
and there's
inferno.
an intense heat coming from the fire that Eugene started.
And I pass both to Eugene. They need to burn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Straight on.
I
Don't question it. Just put them straight on.
yeah.
As those pages ignite and the ashes rise up into the flames, we pan away and we return to Nat at not at the newspaper by this point, but let's see, Corinne, if you can tell us as Nat finishes at the paper, probably around about the same time that we're seeing books burn, a big book burning event, a good old fashioned book burning event.
Yeah, good old fashioned book burning. Sounds
So
fine.
Nat has the all her stories and everything collated for the weekend press. That's all with her editor, and it's chance for you to you've not slept, but this is a late night all-nighter that you've pulled.
Yeah.
Maybe you're going to go home and crash. Maybe you're going to go and grab breakfast. What's your plan? Where do you want to be? How do you want to touch base with the others if you're going to do that?
Well, at the moment I'm just I'm having some breakfast. I'm a bit worried because I know what state people were in last night. I have no way of knowing they've gone to Warren's house, really.
Yeah, that's true. So it's not you're going to meet them there. You certainly aren't going to meet them at Warren's. So you're probably sat like in some diner somewhere having a greasy spoon type breakfast or whatever passes for a salad or whatever, and your brain takes your thoughts obviously to what are those Muppets doing, and does it concern you enough that you want to get up out of your seat and track them down and join them?
I mean, yeah, I would like to join them, see what they. Has there been like a big siren and like people are talking about the fucking
Column of smoke.
the column of smoke where the bank is burning down?
I'm going to give you this. Before you left the newspaper, did somebody else come in with the burning bank story?
Well, it depends. Has people been working night shift? Because I've been writing up my previous stories.
Yeah.
So it depends.
So this is what I'm saying. Did one of the other reporters come in? Did they catch that story, or do you want it to be something you chase up?
I mean, someone can come in that they have had reports of it, but no one's like gone there yet to write because it was in the middle of the night. Everybody was sleeping.
So yes, the report comes in through contacts on the street that the Crocker First National Bank is on fire. That fire officers have been dispatched to fight the fire, and the editor comes screaming out and gets probably one of the guys to go out to cover the story.
What the fuck is happening?
Right. So he looks at you and says, "Does this in any way connect with the banker?"
I have no idea.
You've got no leads that connect this with what the banker got up to.
I mean,
are they trying to destroy evidence?
Possibly, it could be. I wonder if someone's trying to destroy the paintings. I don't know. Possibly.
He looks at you, puzzled by that.
Yeah. The the paintings that are like about that.
And you may, as a player, not remember, but you didn't really go into the paintings much with the editor last session.
Okay.
Now, it might be that you're tired and therefore making a slip and letting something go.
Yeah.
He's going, Nat, what are you talking? Nat, what do you? No, so he was calling you Lewis because that's your last name, and that's when I discovered that I forgot there was a really famous female reporter at the Daily Planet called Lewis.
Oh.
Lewis, you're what are you talking about? You're making no sense.
Oh, sorry. I'm really tired. I was stayed up so late last night writing the reports. No, it's. I will go and check it out. It's too close for it not to be connected. But yes, I'll go and check it out and see what I can find out.
Okay, well, we've got until last thing tomorrow night to add anything if you find more connections for the financial story.
Yeah.
If you can get back here tomorrow with an update, we'll add it to your story, especially if there's some controversy, some corruption that we can reveal. We want that. We want that breaking news.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And I shall.
So you obviously you have an insight into what might have happened. So you don't have to go to the bank to get the lowdown if you can track the others down.
Yes.
So that's your reconnect with the party if that's what you'd like. But you can, if you want, go back to the bank and just confirm how much damage has been done.
I don't need to go and see a steaming pile of rubble.
Okay, right. So the last time they had to all regather, Robin and Eugene just turned up at JD's door, which is effectively the only place you all know everybody connects to. I mean, you know probably where Eugene's office is. That's another place you could go check on.
JD's house first, because apparently that seems where everybody's been hanging out. So
Sure,
poor
okay.
JD.
Right. Okay, so what we'll do then is Nat will be at JD's, and I don't know if they'll all arrive at the same time, but it kind of makes cinematic sense to do that. So unless there was anything else at Warren's that we need to tidy up, and I guess there is at least one thing we need to tie up at Warren's. So we'll just come back to Helen, Dave, and Spider for a second. If you can just give me a resolution on anything that you think might be a loose end there.
There is a big part of Eugene that he still accepts the fact that murder is probably not a good idea. But we have already got the fire going. Just saying.
I mean, unless we can find out who this G person is, I can't see how we can not keep him alive. And
I think here's the question. Do we think that if we destroy everything, this will stop him trying again?
Probably not. I mean, we should. Is
did
he
any
awake?
of you? No, he's not waking up.
Yeah,
Should
he's
we
got a
bring him
significant
with us?
bruise on the back of his head and he's unconscious.
Did any of you find anything that might spread a fire?
Burn his house down.
Sure, that's too difficult to do.
I mean, there's a lot of like paper and flammable stuff. I'm sure we could. Why?
If we're gonna do that, I'm gonna go and make sure you don't have to see this. I'll go and make sure, because the fire, people get out of fires all the time.
Wait, we're not actually considering.
Even if we just
as a pokey stabby thing.
even if
JD walks away.
Even if you block the chimney, start a fire in the fireplace, let the smoke into the room, there's enough stuff in there. It will catch fire. And as long as he doesn't wake up.
That's what I want to go and make sure will be the case.
Okay.
I'm sorry if this is not
No.
sensitive, people, but
No.
this
He's a monster.
Yes.
He's a monster. And And he's corrupted my brother. No, he will pay for this.
Yeah.
Burn him.
This isn't
He's no better than these paintings. Burn him.
just
Okay,
this isn't. This
I'm going
is-
to stop. I'm going to stop us shortly, guys. I don't want to actually go through that scene itself. So wrap what you're doing up, and then we will cut to JD's,
Eugene,
assuming the act is done.
Eugene, we're going to prepare the largest marshmallow he's ever prepared.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Fucking Christ.
So you're going to JD's? Where's JD gone? That's my question.
Okay.
JD started
um,
walking away
That's fair enough.
to her house, not getting
Okay.
involved in this.
So the only part of it that I've got to tie down is which of you lights the fire. Which of you incinerates him? One might say,
I'm happy
which
to
of
have
you is
Eugene do all of
immolating
this.
him?
Eugene's mythos exposure, his commitment to ending everything that is happening is so strong that he's if the ladies want to step
Then it's-
out for
then it's
the,
Eugene
for the
that's
sake
making
of
the
their
roll.
constitution, Eugene will do all of it. I will happily do the
I think-
stabbing
Yeah.
and drag the body onto the bonfire. We don't even have to set the house on fire.
I
Okay,
mean,
Dave, you're getting 2 plot points.
I need them.
No, you don't, but you're getting 2 plot points because the dice roll that's going up against you is the hardest dice roll we've had in game.
Okay.
Whenever the GM uses D12, you get a plot point.
Okay. Good.
Because
Because what you're about to do is the highest form of challenge you've got to face. Your current mythos exposure, Dave, is 8.
Yep. Best number.
The best number.
I'd just
so I'm
like to
looking at-
make it clear, Robin is making sure that Eugene does the job properly and will step
Oh,
in.
You're going to have to roll against this as well then, Helen. So this one is for Dave. I am going to give you 17 to beat Dave. I'm spending a dice out of the Doom pool to keep that extra 8. That extra D8. But you have 5 plot points to your name, so you can create additional assets to help you resist this mythos influence, because this isn't to succeed
I mean-
at burning
I
him.
mean, is this like
This is to come out of it as a human being with an intact.
this is like
yeah,
sense
this
of
is
self.
not to get like 5 mythos points or whatever you're gonna get.
but right, okay, so but I can do whatever I want on this, right? So
Am I
think,
rolling against the same score?
So I'm going to roll separately for you,
Okay, fine.
Helen.
so
Sorry,
right,
thanks.
I'm looking at are you adding all of that in? Am I looking at
So I've added the whole thing in.
17.
You're rolling against 17. Yeah,
17? Right. That doesn't seem too difficult to be honest.
it's doable,
I'm
especially with the
gonna
number
use,
of plot
I'm gonna
points.
use my
open to you.
vitality as a sort of resistance, and also the fact that he's physically exerting in this action. Yeah, so he's using his resilience to get through the whole thing.
Sure. Yeah, it's physically taxing as well as It's
I'm going to shove Moxie in as his specialty.
Yeah.
Yep. Drink to forget. He's been doing that all bloody.
Yeah. I think the drink to forget is going to be very useful after this. So yes.
I want to put the fire starting kit and the poker in as assets because they are involved in this scene, even if they aren't particularly helping me resist them. Well, they are helping me resist the mythos because I'm burning and destroying all traces of the mythos. So yeah, in Eugene's eyes, I don't see why they wouldn't help. But
Wait. The rest of the money is still in the suitcase.
Yeah, but you
That's-
haven't told anybody about that.
Yeah.
Oh no.
You walked away.
around.
So
No.
unless-
Halfway, she
unless-
starts turning back.
unless as part of the discussion you pick up on the fact what's going to happen and therefore go to get the money.
are you
I think
okay
she
with
was
me adding both of
expecting
them in
there
mine?
to be a fire. she's not going to reach it before the fire starts.
That's the thing.
No,
But she's still
we
going to
can make
walk
it. We can make
back.
it a test. We can make it a test to see whether or not you get the money out of the building before they set fire to the place. This is turning into more
so
of a
you
scene
guys
than
are
I
just
thought.
gonna burn to death while I have to
I was
take care
trying
of
to
this
skip
fucking
some of this, but
mess.
this is turning into more of a scene.
Am
Okay,
I okay putting those
JD,
assets
we'll
in?
come back to JD in a second. That's on the table as an option. Eugene, without knowing that JD is still in the building, is doing this.
Can I add
Robin
those
is
assets?
somewhere in the vicinity. 1 second, Dave. Robin is somewhere in the vicinity watching this happen to make sure it does. Dave, your question, sorry.
The fire and the poker, I'm adding in as assets. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. If
I'll
you
use
can't
the
add those
stress.
into the thing,
I use the stress. to
add it in as a
represent
stress,
one of
or
them, yeah.
and then add an extra dice in the extra dice roller, or just roll it.
I
As
don't need an
as,
extra dice unless I actually have a stress that I can add on. I don't
No,
think.
not in this instance.
And there's no other assets
Okay, fair enough.
added. So I'm ready to roll this. Okay.
To beat 17,
I think I've easily done that.
I think so. With the plot points you got available, yeah.
So what have I got to be? 17, yeah?
Yeah.
So I will spend a plot point and go to 18. Sorry, yeah, go to 18 with the 7, 5, and 6 and leave a D8 left over. Yeah,
So
I'm gonna have to use.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to use a plot point to get there, regardless. There's no other way of doing
Yeah,
it. So, I'm gonna use a
so
plot point, have a
discard your
D8
plot
left
point.
over.
Discard your plot point if you can. Delete the card.
Do that. No, I see that.
You get to the point where you succeed at that roll, and
Can't right.
you
If I'm putting a
you take
D8
the
in
point
it,
of this. The point of this was to avoid mythos stress.
can I go further than that, Mike?
Mm.
Can I? I've got right. So if I could do 18 and have 2 D8s left over, right? So one of the D8s is used. Can I use a plot point to put the other D8 in and target the doom pool with it? Because you've given me a lot of plot points, feel like I should use them.
You're not really able to target the doom pool in that way.
I'm burning key elements of the.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Okay, so what I'm going to offer you here is then, first up, you're doing stress to Warren. I mean, this was a test to avoid mythos, so not to get an outcome as such, but you're able to do stress to Warren, which is what you're looking for as an outcome from the fire.
Yeah.
If you want to keep an additional D8 as an asset that can be used against the doom pool, pass it to JD. Pass that D8 to JD so she can use it in the roll that she's going to have to make in a second.
Okay, I mean, I can do that, but like,
because the way to get the doom pool smaller is to make me spend the dice.
yes. If I'm doing right, okay, if I'm adding this D8 onto Warren right now, though, that doesn't kill him, though, does it? That doesn't actually burn him alive.
I mean, we are definitely dwelling on the immolation of Warren Palmer more than I intended. So any viewers who are triggered by this, I fully apologize. But
right,
he's got a D12 stress, which if you push to anything higher than D12, takes him out.
But I can't.
And that can be death. That can be
stress.
death. And in this instance, that's what being trapped in a burning building leads to.
Okay. Then I'll just leave it at that. I will. So what do I need to do to pass on to
So
Spider?
spend a plot point to keep an extra dice, and then that's a timing-based asset to give JD enough time to get out of the building before the fire gets to her.
Then
So
I
it's
will do
an
that.
extra D8 she can roll.
D8 going over for Spider.
Sure.
To do what she needs to do.
I appreciate
If you
this.
just keep that in mind, Helen, we're going to quickly roll your dice pool against the fact that you're watching somebody be burned. I will spend the plot point to take that to 18.
Okay.
So not a plot point. I will spend a doom pool
Doom
dice.
Yeah. Okay, so she is using her willpower. I've added in a specialty of religious upbringing because although she may not have faith at the moment, she definitely is spiritually lost. Yeah. The fire and brimstone teaching of her childhood is ringing very loud and clear in her head at the moment. She's looking to blame someone. She's found someone to blame. So my asset, is Warren an asset here?
Yeah.
Okay.
In as much as you hate him at that level.
Yeah. And any stress for the target? Yes or no?
Yes, because he's got a D12 stress,
Okay.
which is fair, Dave. You should have had the D12 to roll as well. I apologize. You should have had that. Oh dear, that's very bad news.
I will pass that. Can I pass that D12 on to the spider?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, pay the plot point to give the
Pay the plot
D12
point,
to.
so a D12 and a D8.
Yeah.
to the
So it's a
spider.
so it's a D12 instead if you want.
Oh right, so
So-
I get to keep the plot point.
No. So spend the plot point to give her the D12
Yeah.
rather
I-
than to
I've
give her a
already spent
D8.
one to give her a D8.
Then just make it the D12. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
So,
Sorry. Yeah.
okay, what happens if we draw? Is it me and B,
You
or
have to beat it to succeed. But I'm just going to make a point. You just gave me a D12.
yeah, I know, but I can't help
Yeah.
that, can I? I can't help
Yeah,
what the
sorry.
dice rolls. Okay, so
This
even
is
if
to resist mythos. This is, remember, to resist your mythos being stepped up.
yeah, that's fine. So even if I meet it, get to 18, I still would take more mythos stress. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take me up.
Okay.
Actually, no, you can have the plot point. I'm going to spend the dice. I'll use the plot point. Spend the dice, make it 18 still.
Yeah.
You can
Take
you
up the
can beat
mythos
it.
exposure.
You can beat it.
You can't.
You can.
How do I beat it with those dice?
You spend 2 plot points and use them all.
Am I allowed to use 2 plot points?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize. I thought we were only allowed to use 1 plot point per thing. Oh, God,
No,
then
no,
I'm beating it. Sorry.
Yeah.
That was
Fair enough,
my
yeah.
mistake. All right, no,
Yeah,
2
you're-
plot points. I'm beating it.
Okay. So your hatred carries you through this, horrific as it was to watch for anybody else. So
Satisfying.
we're just going to switch to Spider, basically fleeing a burning building with a heavy suitcase, or if you want, just the bag, just the
The
Hessian
money
bag.
sack bag.
Okay.
Right.
Fine.
I can do this. So
Okay. So you have it relatively easy. You've got a D12 in your favor. which Dave's given you.
that's the roll
Right,
extra
so-
dice, isn't it?
You can just put that in as the stress dice if you want.
Oh, sweet, cool.
Yeah. And it's not actually that difficult, as it turns out.
Do I bother adding the D10?
If you want to spend the plot point that you have to do that, then yes.
So
I mean, if you don't beat a 6, you're going to regret it.
I'm going to use my alertness to make sure that I'm actually avoiding fire.
Yeah, so that you can hear the approach of the flames and things like that.
I feel like snooping should be a part of this.
You're determined to eke the most out of that, aren't you?
Yes. I mean, snooping is vague for
I mean,
a reason.
why not use your sleight of hand, because it's stealing.
Because I've already done it as a D6.
Yeah, don't worry about it then. Just keep going.
Photographic memory, because I know exactly where everything is.
Yeah.
Apart from the fire.
You've not photographed the fire yet.
Oh, this is when JD bursts to death in the building.
Asset. Camera equipment.
No.
Boo. Now I have a stress. Does that affect me?
I am going to actually give you a D4 asset,
Ah,
the heavy bag of money.
but I've already. Should I redo my?
No, if you've already skipped it, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
But I want the heavy bag of money as an asset.
You're going to come out with a heavy bag of money, but the D4 was to basically slow you down.
How did I
Um,
roll a fucking 1?
Because that's the nature of the
Oh.
game.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the way
I
the
got-
game swings.
A 7?
All you needed was a 7, yes.
Sweet, I got it.
All right.
Just.
And
think.
you can keep the D6 as an asset, which is heavy bag of money. But it's not a very big asset. So I'm going to say that, okay, the scene outside the building is Eugene and Robin coming out a little sooty, but otherwise determined and stone-faced as they start to scan the area, trying to figure out where Spider's gone. They're a little way onto the street as you come barreling out the door with this sack over your shoulder, and they see you, and it's clear and present, almost to the point where photoshopped over the top of you is a mask and black and white striped top. You are effectively a bank robber, right? They see the big dollar sign on the side of the bank or whatever. So it's clear that you have just exited the building with a bag full of cash. But you have
Guys,
exited the building with a bag. Yeah.
Why did you do that and leave the money? Do you know
Okay.
how
I think we should
much?
move. Let's have this conversation on the move.
Very good idea.
It's kind of a running theme. I burnt down the whole bank earlier.
Part of the
And
bank.
let's continue
You
that
burned
conversation
a
at JD's
bank?
with Corinne, and Nat, rather. So everyone arrives at JD's within moments of each other, and
Is Nat
there's
waiting
some-
for us?
Oh, I forgot to ask. So, Helen, at the end of last session, the
Yes.
last thing you said to Warren was, "Warren, you've got some splaining to do." I got to ask, was that an I Love Lucy reference, or was that just your choice of words?
Just my choice of words.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, it was just perfectly delivered to be an I Love Lucy quote. I was wondering if you knew the source.
No, Helen's not that thoughtful. I keep telling you, like, the character just comes. It's not Helen's thinking.
Perfect. Yeah,
Is Nat there before us?
momentarily.
Yeah, I was kind of like.
So she's been banging on the door and maybe about to give up as you guys come stumbling up the stairwell.
Smelling of like smoke.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I basically just walk past you, don't say a word, and like look at JD to open the door.
By the
is
time you've walked
everything
across
alright?
town, by the time you've walked across town, unless you guys took a tram or some other public transport or another taxi witness, driver, maybe it's coming up for 11 in the morning.
Hi.
So
How are you guys?
they look like they might have just come from a burning bank, but you don't know.
Can you
Right,
guys
quickly,
tell me
inside.
what you're smelling?
Inside,
Okay,
inside,
okay.
inside,
JD
inside.
shuffles you all into the apartment.
Most importantly, my bag of money.
Right.
I
And
love
I
money.
want to be clear. Possession is 9/10 of the law, but that is the money from the sale of Ernest's paintings.
And it
And
now
the evidence
belongs
for
to
that is
JD.
in the notebook. That is the evidence for that is in the notebook that Robin has from Warren's house.
Robin, may I have a look at that notebook real quick?
No, it's not the time.
It's this is my money. We will discuss this in a second.
To be fair to Robin, JD hasn't looked in that notebook. I'm just saying that Robin knows the evidence. So Robin knows that money is the money because she's read that book.
Yeah. It's not the time.
Right. So we did stuff.
Oh.
We
Nat has many questions.
yeah, we did
Tell
stuff.
me why you're smelling of smoke.
Fire. Smoky fire.
I'm just going to clean up a little bit. She takes a bag, hides it, stashes her money around in places where people won't normally look. Just, I have thought too much about this already. I'm gonna skim over this part. And she then proceeds to actually change and not smell like smoke. So she goes off and lets them deal with this whole conversation while she proceeds to get rid of smoke.
Makes sense. I mean, you're leaving a large bag of money somewhere in the apartment unattended
No.
while you're doing that, maybe.
She's stashing it first.
Okay.
She's got a little cash in every room in which that she just doesn't do it in front of anyone.
Okay. So while JD's out of the room and there's running water in the bathroom, how are the other three of you interacting?
We need to get to the. We need to go see the mob boss and destroy his painting. I think then everything will be finished and we'll be safe.
Please tell me that you haven't been burning down people's the bank to destroy a painting.
I think you'll find we've been destroying paintings.
Yeah.
Did you burn down the bank?
It won't be burnt down. I mean, maybe a few offices lost on that floor, but not burnt down. It wouldn't spread them that fast.
Currently burning to the ground.
It's probably an exaggeration.
No.
It's hardly a loss.
They've got insurance. They'll be fine.
Could have been so much worse for them.
In the
So
interest
much
of how
worse.
long we have before 11, I'm sorry to cut roleplay short, but if we are finishing tonight, we need to
okay.
pace. I apologize for that. That's partly on me as well. The burning of
Feels
Warren
long.
took a little bit longer. Eugene has said that you need to get to the mob boss. Of the four of you, Eugene has the contacts with the mob. So I'm going to focus this on Dave for a second. Dave, what is the plan?
We call Harry, set up a meet, tell him we're interested in buying the painting. Ooh, we've got some money for that.
Yeah, we got some money now, baby.
Get the painting, burn the painting.
This
Get
is my
there,
money.
find out the entire mob has been taken over by the new white people,
Pallids.
the Pallids.
Some pallets. Pale man.
And,
The white
Okay.
man.
use a poker and lots of flammable materials. Fight our way through the new ghoulish mob. Find the painting, kill the painting, burn the painting. Probably burn down the entire mob at the same time.
So Harry takes a while to track down. We're talking maybe coming up for late afternoon.
Okay.
And he is. This is an unusual request from you, Eugene. I mean, when I heard that you've been asking after me, I assumed either you were looking to pay off debts or get into another poker game, which, by the way, I can get you into tonight if you're interested.
Well, Frank, we were there.
Yeah, tonight's going to be one of the games he's interested in. Yeah, I mean, I can't front you. You're gonna have to have the cash to put on the table.
Oh, I'm good for it.
Okay, he arranges a time, and it's the usual venue, the warehouse by the docks.
Okay. Okay. We'll go meet him there. Maybe he'll have the painting, and I can win it in a card game.
Okay, let me take a look at that.
Are you saying that to us? Or to him
So
on the phone?
Not to him.
so no, you effectively
Yeah.
find him in
I'm
person.
like he's going to be in this poker game. I think we should go and see. I can get.
I mean, no one is going to bring a painting to a poker game.
No.
Oh,
no,
come on, Eugene.
No.
Pull your head out your ass. Right.
I have it with him.
I'm the only one still.
But we
concerned
can
about
probably
the fact that
negotiate
burn
for it.
down.
Either way,
You
we
really
need
are.
poker.
Yes.
We won't.
You
we
really are
won't
the only
know-
one.
We don't know where he's going to have kept the painting. We don't know where the painting is. So we're going to have to find that out. And if he's going to be at the poker game, he's the only one we're going to find that out from. So either way, we've got to go to the poker game.
Nat, was there any article about that auction?
I will
She-
only
she
tell
not
you if you
involved in
promise
the
me
auction.
not to burn down another building.
So
I make
Nat
no
wasn't
such
involved
promise.
in the auction. So I mean, the auction house itself is looking to promote what happened in its own materials. That's why they hired JD as a photographer.
Okay. JD,
Yeah, what's up?
He
did you
falls from the
keep
shower.
did you keep a list of people you took photographs with or didn't take photographs of?
No, because I had the photographs. Keyword, had.
Oh.
We bent like that.
Do you remember? Do you remember the woman with the mob boss?
The woman with the mob. But
Oh, well, yeah,
was
come
it-
back.
okay. She walks back in, completely different outfit. Wait, was this the one that we got shooed away? I got shooed away from. I can't
Yeah.
remember.
Did
I do vaguely remember that one.
Do you need me to step in with any details?
no,
Yes, please.
really don't.
I guess as much.
Right. Do you know what? I'm going to ring Cecilia.
Ooh.
Just, I can't. Yeah. Can I use your phone?
Sure, it's over there.
Right. She's going to ring Cecilia. She got the number from the maid when she visited.
Sure. Yep.
Said she was going to check
Got
up on her maybe like a few hours later. Ring.
Sure. It rings. Mentally prepare that call 1 second. Let me think. Okay. The phone's answered by the maid. And she says, hello, Colin's house.
Hello. This is Robin here. I was visiting Cecilia yesterday. I was
This-
wondering if I could talk to Cecilia, see how she is.
Okay, 1 moment. And she places the phone down on a counter and steps away. There's a pause. There's a relatively significant pause. And then a gentleman answers the phone and asks, is this Ms. Robin Bourne?
It is, yes.
Can I confirm that you're an associate of Eugene Carrigan?
No, I don't think you can. I'm not
Can I
an
ask
associate
whereabouts
of
you are
anyone.
right now? Could I ask whereabouts you are right now?
Can I ask who's calling? Who's asking?
I need to check a character name.
Do we see how this conversation's?
I mean, you're seeing her side of the conversation. Sorry, this is Detective Carrick of the San Francisco Police Department.
Detective
We
Carrick.
would like to speak to you. We'd like to speak to yourself and Mr. Carrigan in relation to a number of incidents that have been reported over the last day and a half.
Right, excellent. Are you the detective who's in charge of the Noel Collins case? Is that why you're at Mrs. Collins' house?
We are following a number of leads on a number of incidents.
The major case of arson.
Please, may I speak to Mrs. Collins, please?
I'd just like to ask a few more questions first, please.
I'm afraid I won't be able to answer any of them. I'd just like to speak to Mrs. Collins.
What is this about?
It is about her welfare.
Mrs. Collins is very well and cared for.
I don't think you're in the best position to make that judgment, are you? I would like to speak to Mrs. Collins, please.
Again, I repeat, I need to know why.
Because I want to check on her welfare. She has
She
a
is
police
fine.
officer in her house the day after her husband died, the day after you broke news with no one else around to support her. I would very much like to know how she is, and I would like to speak to her myself.
Maybe you'd care to come here and speak to her in person then.
I'm afraid I can't do that. I need to speak
And
to
why
her
is that?
on the phone.
Why is that?
Because
I've just got told off by my wife for being snappy.
because I'm not in a position to visit Mrs. Collin at the moment.
I can understand that.
I mean, I can just wait for you to give me, this is her house. Have you asked her whether she would like to speak to me? Does she even know I'm on the phone?
She's aware you're on the phone, and I asked if I could speak to you on her behalf.
Excellent. Well, now you can say that I would very much like to talk to her personally. Thank you. Be your love, pass the message on.
So this is where I might get a little anachronistic, as I don't quite know what the tracing technology would be in the 1930s. I doubt they can track you down, but they can check with the operator who connects the call.
Yes, they can, because there's some physical person.
So he's playing you for time to make that connection.
Yay, thank you.
And therefore they will have this call traced to JD's apartment shortly. So he continues to play it out for a while, and then has Cecile come to the phone and speak to you whilst he supervises. So he's within earshot when her voice comes on the call.
Oh, Cecile. Oh, how are you?
Robin, what have you been doing?
I haven't been doing anything. How are you? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Robin, the bank. The fire at the bank.
Fire at the bank? What fire at the bank?
She says she doesn't know anything about it.
How are you?
Fine. The police came to ask if I'd heard from you and if I knew what had been happening.
Have you got someone who can be with you? I don't think you should be with the police alone, not at a time like this. I'm so sorry. I would come and help you myself, but I'm really not in a position to at the moment.
You must come in. They need to talk to you. Maybe you can clear your name.
That's not my concern right now. My concern is you.
So she is currently not in custody. She is effectively protected by police officers. Mm-hmm. And she expresses and explains that there are a number of officers here, and that she doesn't feel threatened by them. She's concerned. She expresses her concern for your safety and for your involvement in what sounds to be some dangerous people.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to suggest that you ask maybe a friend or someone can come and be with you at this time. You don't want to be alone at a time like this, especially not dealing with police officers who have no idea what's going on. I'm going to...
You're sounding completely batshit insane. I love it.
I have one question, and I apologize that I have to ask this. Do you remember the name of the couple? There was like, and I describe the mob boss guy, and I was like, and I described the woman with him. It's like, do you remember what
she was name? So, yes. She was a little bit creepy, if you ask me, but very elegant. And the old man that she was with seemed very infatuated with her.
Yeah, I can see that. Do you remember what her name was?
Was it Rizal? Something like some German name, I think.
Like Gazelle. Giselle?
Giselle.
Giselle.
Her name was Giselle, yes.
Thank you. Thank you. I might not be able to talk to you much in in the next few days, but I will be back in contact. And please take care of yourself. Hangs up.
She's looking. Yeah, you hear it saying she's looking to hang up as you click the phone. Yes, you confirm that the mobster's mole's name is Giselle.
I think I
the
found our G. Okay. Let's go.
Okay. Where are we going?
Well, I thought you'd arranged to meet, unless you have
Yeah,
another way of finding him.
You were objecting to it, so like then you made a phone call, and now you're saying let's go. I'm just clarifying.
So the woman that was with that guy, her name was Giselle.
Right.
And even Cecile said she was weird and creepy. She was weird and creepy.
Hey, you're not being weird and creepy right now.
Weird.
Yeah, but my name doesn't start with G.
That's a crime. Let's go.
I mean,
Okay.
painting, Giselle, 2 birds, 1 stone.
You want me to go? You want me to still do the meet? Or you go and talk to Giselle? Is that what we were suggesting? Or do you want me to come along?
Well, we don't know where she lives, so unless you can come up with an address.
I don't have an address for her.
Well, no, neither do I. So come on, warehouse then, isn't it?
Warehouse then. That's right. Let's go.
Right. I feel like we probably should change.
Oh, I hadn't even thought of that.
Warehouse?
Warehouse.
I need to finish this.
What are we doing there?
Okay.
Because
So the allotted time for the poker game approaches, and you go to the warehouse, which I think you're all on the right page on Roll20 to look at.
Just before we do, what are JD? Because like I think I had Robin and Eugene agree to that plan.
Yeah,
I definitely
that's why
haven't
I
heard JD or Nat agree to that plan.
Nat is not on board on this plan, especially since she learned that you guys have been playing arson over this.
JD is
With
not
the
a part
bag.
of this plan either, because she doesn't know where you're getting your money from.
There's a certain point of like Eugene's getting his kit ready to go, and he's basically got the poker slung over his shoulder and a jerry can in his other hand. It's like, let's go.
Hey, JD.
Right.
I forgot something back in the
Yeah. Should we
do you
should
want
we
to
go
go
have a let's go have a chat on like over there maybe.
Then in which case we're going to focus on the warehouse for a moment. And if you
Yeah.
guys, no.
No, we haven't left yet.
Okay.
Let them have the chat.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Yes.
I feel-
we.
I wanted your opinion.
Yes.
I don't think it would be safe to stay here much longer.
Well, I mean, yes, we need to figure out more about the painting and stuff, but burning down several buildings.
Right. I've got a second ticket. I've got 2 tickets to Europe. And a lot of money. We can just
Well,
go.
I don't have much. Yeah, I don't have much time here.
Honestly, we can go see how if there's any sign of fire, we just book it.
So to be clear, just to clarify, go along with them, and then at a moment's notice, just drop everything and go.
That's what I'm suggesting.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless
So I'm known in the. At least I will be able. I need to.
we're both kind of known in our respected areas, I feel like this could be very catastrophic for both of us, and I feel like those two are a bit of a lost cause.
Yeah, the question is, do we want to implicate ourselves further or just get the fuck out now?
I'm thinking my house needs to be trashed because we've been in contact a bit too much with these two, and I feel like everyone knows. And then we can just go.
Yeah, I need to leave a report saying that these two are definitely involved and that they won't hear from me anymore.
Okay.
And
Let me pause on that thought. It sounds like everybody's at least going to be at the warehouse.
yeah.
We
Just-
approach the warehouse. Is this at the time for the poker game, or are you going ahead to do your dirty business first?
What?
Is this a James Bond poker negotiation scene, or is this a stealth scout out scene? Just so that I know what we're doing.
I think, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to actually have a look beforehand and see if. I don't think the painting's going to be there. I think the likelihood of it being there is slim, but we should at least look before we go in.
Okay.
I don't know that.
So what's your entry then?
I think so. I think Robin would have been like, I mean, even if he turns up, she's not going to be there. But he's not going to come on foot, is he? So, like, do you go in, we hide and like get into the car when he gets, so that like we can get to the house?
Yeah, we could do that.
I mean, I don't know. Nat, JD, any other ideas? Need to know where she lives. Need to know where she is.
I wonder if I got a look at the. Can I look back in my memory to see if I saw any sort of personal information about these people? Specifically, because I'm assuming the mob boss would be quite a well-known figure.
Yeah. So sorry, what is it that you're thinking here?
An address.
Oh, yeah, I mean, technically you could locate where he lives, yes. Yeah, I don't think there's anything to stop that. But his residence is going to be a different deal to meeting him at what is an arranged meetup. It's a yeah, if you wanted to try and find that, you could locate that in the books. That's going to take you away from doing what the others are currently setting up.
Were there any names on the tickets?
So
Surely she could remember this sort of stuff.
For plot interest reasons, the tickets were just nameless. I don't know if that was a thing or not in the 30s. I know it's not these days, but I think security has stepped up a lot. I think I'm basing this on the. I'm looking at this as a Casablanca style. Yeah, I'm looking at this as Casablanca style, where those tickets were interchangeable amongst any of the characters in the film.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and so
from
yeah.
my understanding of American security, there was a jump in security around the DB Cooper incident, and then another jump,
I suspect so.
another giant jump at the 9/11
true.
stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
before
Okay.
that, you could just give a random name.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, there's no names on the tickets, so they are interchangeable. I think that was quite a big mistake that Dumas made in the Three Musketeers. You know, it was a plot gizmo that they used in that book. That's a classic. I'm allowed to use the same one here.
Yeah. I mean, is
Maybe
this
later
is not
tonight.
is this plain or is it
Yeah, so these are two tickets on a Zeppelin to Europe.
I wouldn't take a Zeppelin.
It's safe until 36.
Yeah, 3 years away.
Well, I mean, there are still accidents on Zeppelins.
Yeah,
but,
I was going to
you know,
say they're
the
hardly
one you're
risk-free.
thinking about is safe for a few more years.
Yeah. Not
Just
the
add a little
Heisenberg.
romance.
Mm.
Right.
Heisenberg?
For the sake of plot progress,
Yes.
you're at the warehouse.
Yeah.
The warehouse is where we're doing something. If you're going to scout it out before it gets busy, there are still going to be employees of the warehouse or security or even maybe mobsters at the warehouse. So that's the things that you're going to be working your way around.
I will have an attempt at trying to get past security to get inside beforehand, if that's all right, right?
Sure.
So I'm gonna do a scout thing.
Can
Object.
Robin be your piece on your arm?
Absolutely.
So you're just here early for the game. Is that kind of your angle?
I'm gonna not only that, I'm gonna say that we're here as expected high roller guests.
Then in which case you just basically call in on Harry to get you in.
Well, I was gonna, but I was expecting it would be I'd have to bluff the guards or something.
No. So basically you agree, you just plot point, you know, just a general part of the plot. You agree with Harry to meet up. He's going to get you in.
We'll get in early then, yeah.
You're okay. So you and Harry arrive, and it's probably early enough that you can have a few drinks with the guys, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
You've brought your lady with you, as she wanted to see a good night out, and you know you're all sipping away at drinks, and you've got that wild look in your eyes that you've picked up over the last few days, but they don't really pick up on it because they're used to seeing you with a skinful. The atmosphere in sort of like the front office is fairly relaxed, but once you actually get into the warehouse itself, there's an oppressive level of heat, and you can see just from where you're stood at least 4 or 5 oil burning heaters around the warehouse, and looking beyond into what would be a dark warehouse, you can see there are even more glowing spots further into the warehouse where other heaters have been set up. It's uncomfortably warm. As you approach the poker table, Frank Lanza is sat in the thickest fur coat you have ever seen, and on inspection you realize it's because there's 2 of them. He's wearing 2 fur coats, one on top of the other.
Oh, right. Okay.
Not 2 Frank Lanzas, 2 coats. I apologize for the confusion.
Yeah. I was like, I'm now trying to figure out the physics of like if you coexist in the same location, that somehow lowers your body temperature.
No, he is heating himself up ridiculously. You can see the sweat on his face. His hands are dripping, and he's sat there shivering.
I'm going to put a hand on Eugene's chest. Sweetheart, can I have a minute with you, please?
Of course.
Just this way?
Okay. It looks like these guys need a fire.
Do you remember what the last picture was of?
He's never seen it.
But I know what it was because it was explained to me. I never saw the picture, but it was an immolation. It was a fire. Yeah, a fire.
It was like a white glowing figure in like flames, and they had this sort of. It was like red and cream and white and I think it's about to happen here. I'm not sure if the painting's here, but I think I know who's about to burn, and not through our hands. I don't know if we want to stay or
Okay.
we just started.
Yeah. Get ready to run. I'm going to walk back over to Frank, and I'm going to say, this might sound a little bit, tiny bit crazy, okay? But the painting you bought is cursed, and it's trying to kill you. It's trying to recreate what's in the painting with you in it. And if I'm right, that means it wants to burn you.
Partway into that, we have another figure walk onto scene. Giselle steps out from between the shelving racks, carrying the painting, places a hand on his shoulder. You can see her flinch with the heat as she does so. She also is aglow with the heat in this room, but she's at least dressed more sensibly, considering. And she leans over and just whispers something in his ear, and he kind of just shakes his head a little bit. You see droplets of sweat flick off his nose as he does so, and he just blanks you and doesn't take in what you're saying.
I mean, did anybody stop me walking in with the can full of
So
material?
I'm assuming that there's going to be some revelation within the plot as to how you get that into the building, but we're not focused on that as yet.
I think you find we are. Natalie, sorry, not Natalie. Robin has been watching, has seen Giselle come in with the picture, and she looks at all of those oil burners.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether she and Eugene are on the same connection or not, but she stops preparing to run, runs into the room and starts knocking those burners towards Giselle, the painting, and the guy. She doesn't care. She just starts knocking them towards them.
I'm gonna have to put this line in here now, because Casablanca was mentioned earlier, but Eugene is literally going to beam with pride and say, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Yeah. Or at least the very end of.
Maybe. Because
okay,
that was my next move.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed with the delivery there. Let me check something. Okay, and fair enough. If both of you are willing to go to a D10 in Mythos Exposure without rolls, you can narrate how this scene ends.
I am willing.
Yeah.
Okay, so between the two of you, play out this as the final scene of the as how the finish of this happens.
So I think from Robin's point of view, she sees Giselle. That makes her bristle, for starters. She sees the painting. She sees the both of them together, and that is it. And there is now no thought. She sees the lantern. She goes to the nearest one to her that's nearest to them, and she pushes it towards them. That's it. And then she goes to the next one, and which is probably further away, pushes that towards them. And she just keeps going round pushing the oil lanterns until somebody stops her.
These are full-on heaters. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So basically, she'll keep pushing them towards the people until either someone stops her or something else. You know, she runs out of things to push.
I mean, if we're narrating how this goes, I think Giselle tries to stop you, or at least reaches out for you. And at that point, Eugene's just going to clock around the head with the poker, take the painting off of her, and throw it in front of one of the heaters, so it's going to catch fire. And if it doesn't catch fire, I'll help it.
Yeah. So as you put presumably you're doing it as I go round. So you throw it to one I go round to. Yeah. So as the painting hits the floor, Robin comes and is pushing the heater over, so it'll land on the painting. She'll carry on round though. She'll do all the heaters. All of the heaters will go towards them. And then anything else that looks flammable, she will start throwing at Giselle.
Okay, you're both getting a plot point.
Okay.
Because this is just awesome. Yeah, I'm going to spend by D12 from the Doom pool. And that's why you're both getting a plot point, because you're definitely in the scene. Your narration is perfect. The fire engulfs the warehouse. Now, obviously, JD and Nat are relatively nearby, right? but you don't have to be in. It makes sense that these are the two that were inside the warehouse, but maybe you were
Yeah.
outside the back.
No,
or
we're
something.
not. We're not in the warehouse. I don't think
So
we've
yeah,
gone
so you're
in.
not in there, but you see what's happening. You get the gist of what's going on. There's
Yeah.
absolute chaos as a result of what's happened, and the two protagonists in the building, your stress that I've given you is because I don't want to do damage. I want you to get out. So if I'd have gone for the you're burnt to a crisp with everything, you get out in the confusion.
Yeah,
you regroup. You regroup with the others.
Okay, no, Robin's. That's not going to be accepted. Robin is making sure Giselle burns.
I mean,
even
yeah,
if she has to lie on her, physically lie on her, she will do it.
Like Eugene,
you're just
Eugene
gonna-
is hovering over the painting.
She's so far down that rabbit hole now.
The reason I'm spending the D12 is as my part of taking some of this narration.
Okay.
Because this isn't actually the end.
Right.
But she will make sure that Giselle is out of it.
Then I'm 100% behind that. I was going to try and save Giselle, but this is a sticking point for you. So you see the poker in Eugene's hands, and Giselle currently writhing on the floor as the flames approach her, and have a snap moment to do something to ensure that she never leaves this building. What does Robin do?
How big are the heaters?
I mean, they're mid waist high, maybe. There's I mean, I'm not very good at gallons and stuff, but there's like going to be gallons of burning oil all over this warehouse. And let's assume that the warehouse is filled with that very highly flammable whiskey that Eugene loves. Right.
Oh, great.
So
on the way out.
So I think Robin sort of just sees there's a heater, like hefts it up and like pins her down with it, basically.
Okay. Fair enough. You have everything in your favor to be certain she does not get out, and I will have that as part of the progression of the plot.
Okay.
Giselle burns up in the same sense that that Warren, and for this matter Frank Lanza and quite a few of his men do too, as does the painting.
I was going to say, do we see anything in the painting as it burns?
Yeah, so the painting only had the one white figure on it. It hadn't changed, and your exposure to it was very short and swift. So I'm not making you roll for mythos on that front because I've already given you mythos boost anyway. As it burns, you see nothing try to leave.
Okay.
No hands coming out of the frame, nothing pouring out of the back.
As
it burns with the other bodies.
As crazy as this might sound, I want to actually try and get Frank out if I can. Like,
interesting. With everything else that's just been dedicated to the plot, that's going to be pretty difficult, Dave. But I will just make it a straight roll against the difficulty.
I'll test for it. 10. That seems.
A 10's difficult enough to hit, but you've got to spend a plot point, gain a D10 on your favor.
I'll be doing that because I think the painting is. I think the plan was to have him burn. That was the immolation. That was the painting was directed at him. So I don't want him to die in this fire because that's.
I understand.
That's a 7 moment. I'm not having that. What's the block? So yeah, I'm gonna get him out basically.
Okay, sure. Throw a plot point down. Use it to buy the D10. Add that as a stress dice. I don't think you have any usable asset. Harry will help you. Although Harry's going to be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" If you say, "Just get Frank out of here," that's
I'm going to use Harry for that. And I I get a D10 on the stress, basically. And that costs me a plot point. So let's do that.
You're easily beating the 10 there.
I will do that and just
Frank puts up resistance as he's trying to save his mistress from the flames as well, but you manage, and your effect dice sees to it that he does not save her.
Yeah.
He has no part to play in Giselle surviving.
I'm like, no, get
And
out. You need to get out of here. You can't
Right.
be associated with this. You need to go.
It is the case that Dave sees to it that the future of San Francisco continues to have a stable mob society. There's no vacuum.
It's very
of power.
important, don't you
It is
know?
very important. It's like if he dies, there's a power vacuum. We'll have like a gang war and
I
everything.
mean, he's coming out of a stupor as you pull him away from the painting and away from Giselle, and he seems to realize what mistakes he was making. But then he looks at the warehouse. He says, "I think you need to leave now before I forget how kind you have just been."
Okay.
And so it is that the 3 paintings are all destroyed, and to some degree you rest easy, and there are so many things still to do and see to. But
Robin's
Helen,
not
you're shaking your head.
feeling, yeah, no, Robin's not easy. She's not feeling easy at all. What have JD and Kimberly done? Well, Kimberly, JD and Natalie done while we were in the warehouse?
Well, we're probably like chatting about what we're gonna do once like this goes tits up. Like,
So maybe the point where you saw the flames was your get-go, but
Yeah.
there was the comment you made just before we cut to that, which was that you now have leads to insert into your story
yeah,
about you now know what was going on at the bank.
yeah,
So that was a concern or consideration that you had.
yeah.
But that doesn't mean that's your next action. But I just wanted to bring that
No,
comment back so we got that together.
because Nat feels like it's important to tell that these 2 lunatics have been like burning down the entire city.
Hey, and we
Uh,
both have Craig as our asset.
yeah.
It'll be great.
Okay, so at the call bulletin, it's now, because this was a late night on Friday, the poker game. So it's later on that night, approaching the start of Saturday, as you're hammering away, putting further details into a story, touching base with Craig and your editor. And that's kind of where you guys are. So Craig's like, this is unbelievable. Who were these people? How did you meet them? What's going on? And you fill him in on
I
all
will
those
explain everything, how we met them, what it was. I have the advantage of, and I think JD as well, as we weren't actually complicit in setting any fires. I wasn't there when they set any fires, so that's good. JD was there once, but she was getting something, and she hasn't been with them.
I was actively trying to prevent a fire at points, like removing things from the pile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
you try to save as much from the building as you could.
Yeah. Yeah. So apologies to Helen and Dave, but we do.
Oh, it's
Under the
fine.
bush
We
you go.
get to know who the true friends are when things heat up. I get it. It's fine.
Yeah.
So the editor has a runner sent down to the printers to sort of hold the front page kind of thing. Yours is not going to be front page news, but this is all going into the financial section, and details are finalized on the story.
The money was not added to the statement.
Yeah,
No,
I'm sure,
I don't mention anything about the money. The money
basically,
is like
the details the details that you've added are.
So I've added the fact that these 2 lunatics have been setting fires, which and the fact that that they seem to be on the loose. Will the police get them? Ha ha ha. Blah blah blah. I won't say anything about the fires. I will tell our friend Craig that I've been thinking of leaving town for a while now because I don't know how much time we here, and I've just got an opportunity to do so. So I'm just gonna say goodbye. I'm gonna.
Sure.
We're gonna head away from this mess.
I too will be saying goodbye, saying these people are fucking crazy. And they know where I
Okay.
live.
Yeah, we're
Yeah. So I'm assuming you've already packed, or have you got to go back and get some
Oh
stuff?
yeah, I've
Oh, yeah.
packed. I've got a
Packed.
suitcase already lined up with.
Oh yeah, and
A
during
lot
the
of
day they went to Nat's. Well, she doesn't really have a permanent place, but we went and got her
Yeah.
little suitcase. So
So when Robin and Eugene regroup, if they return to JD's, there's no one there.
I don't think they would have gone back to JD's.
Okay.
So what time of day is it now? And what time of day
Okay,
did
so
we
you would
leave
have
the
finished
warehouse?
you finished at the warehouse. What we've just done with Nat probably carried into the next day, but you finished Friday night at the warehouse. And so it's late Friday night, coming into the morning, dusk or dawn rather of Saturday.
It's not over. It's not over, Eugene.
Okay.
Why was there no ghoul in that painting? There should be a ghoul in that painting, right?
I was surprised it didn't try and crawl out. Yeah.
Which means it's hiding somewhere.
You got an idea?
Well, we know there were 3 paintings to sell.
Yeah.
You told me there was a 4th painting.
The one on the wall.
Your report of that was that it was clear and empty when you took it apart with the axe.
That was the painting of the ghouls. There was still the extra room painting
True.
in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm up for going and burning down an apartment block. Let's go.
Doesn't all have to be
We
that
can't
way.
leave it to chance, can we?
Okay.
No,
So
no, we can't.
you spend the very early hours of Saturday morning getting back to the monkey house. You had arranged to have time at the monkey house to remove the belongings. So as long as it's not ridiculously early, the landlord gives you access to the room, explaining that there has been some property damage. Presumably you don't bring Eugene in with you if you're doing it.
No,
that
I'm
way.
bringing Eugene in with me.
Okay,
like-
then in which case
I'll just have my hat
there's
down low.
okay.
No, it's like, yeah, I know. I found the culprit.
And
He's,
okay, right. Okay.
He's going to
I mean,
do
the guy's like
reparations.
okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, he's very hesitant. He says he's going to be watching the whole time. So
That's fine.
the landlord goes up with you. The damage that was done is still there, but there's fresh paint on all the walls, and the false room has been very hurriedly but painted over.
Did you do this?
Yeah, I've not got around to fixing that back wall yet, but I thought I could get started on, some of the work. And basically, when we plaster, I'll make sure that gets fixed as well.
But why?
Look, no offense, I gave you an extension to come and collect all of his stuff, but I have got people moving in on Monday, and I'm still trying to get somebody to come in and finish doing this wall. There's a lot I've got to get done to get this place ready. You can see, and I'll be getting this guy's details if you don't mind before you leave, because I'm going to be putting the bill on his doorstep.
How much rent did my brother pay you in advance?
I don't think out of character here. I don't think we had actually arranged that, but he has effectively given you 2 months worth of occupancy after he left. So
Did he give me 2 months worth, or did he give Warren 2 months worth? Because there's a difference, isn't there? And
So,
Warren had the money.
the arrangement for you to be able to come and collect was with you, but
Yeah.
maybe Warren had made some inroads for you for the place to be left available for you to look at.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's no sign of the painting here anymore. No sign of the wall artwork anymore.
I want to just have a look around. If there's any sign of any of the ghouls or anything left from the previous.
So the ghouls were effectively made out of plaster and wallpaper that had been flaking off the walls. There may be some minor powder from where you scuffled with them, either on the stairs or on the landing, for instance. But it's all been scooped up and disposed of.
What colour are the walls now?
Sort of magnolia white.
Is there any evidence of pale blue?
I see what you're looking for. No, I am trying to reassure you that this room has been neutralized.
I give Frank's details to the guy.
And are there any belongings left of my brother in the room, more importantly?
So yeah, there is still a few things in the wardrobe, a few clothes and things.
Yeah.
The wardrobe shows a lot of signs of damage from when it fell over, but there's a few clothes and things. One crate which is sentimental content, nothing related to the artwork, nothing related to the artwork he was working on has been left here. All of that stuff was taken by Warren.
Okay.
But the other crate, which was like toothbrushes, that sort of thing, is still in the room.
Eugene, do you mind taking that for me, taking it outside for me?
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Thank you.
Well, I'm really sorry it had to end like this, and you'll be hearing from my construction contractors, Mr. Frank Alonso. Looks like you're funny. He said his name was Eugene last time.
Can I ask? I know my brother was quite keen on like some of the other residents at the monkey house. Are any of them around still?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a few. It's quite early. They're unlikely to be awake on a Saturday morning.
Of course, of course. But they're here.
Yeah. There were some people that knew him. Sure.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
Sure.
She'll look around the room one last time.
Okay.
Thank
As Robin's looking around the room, just taking it in one last time before she leaves where her brother lived all that time. You can't help but think back, Eugene, to how the first experience with the Pallid ghouls struck you, the way they knocked over the wardrobe. You're looking at that damage now. They chased you and pushed you out towards the stairs and maybe up towards the roof. And the draw to go towards the roof is stronger now than you ever have felt before. All the time that you next saw them, which was a trick of the light, you're sure, but when you burnt the crucifixion painting. The next instance that you saw them, when you got JD to own up to the remaining photos that she had on her, and how the photo of one of the paintings that she gave you had them crawling out of the painting in the photo and then trying to crawl out of the photo to get to you. The time that you saw them in the bank when it crawled out the back of the painting in the bank and fought you, and that was the return of the one with the paint splodge. So overall, your memories are all sort of streaming back, almost to the point where you lose track of where you are in the building, and you just catch yourself at the bottom of the stairs leading up to the roof access.
I'll open the door to the roof.
You're still on the roof, and you have a D12 clue asset, which I said would bring back.
Yep.
So you're still on the roof, scuffing the the shale on the roof. And it recalls back to where you were when you first started this investigation on the top of the rooftop of the bank. And you saw the evidence that made you convinced there was a scuffle on top of the roof, and that he wasn't alone, that Noel Collins did not go over the edge of that building willingly. He was fighting someone or something. And of course, what we've always suspected since you first met those ghouls, it must have been that he was fighting the ghouls at the top of the roof.
I guess not.
You wonder if the ghouls wanted to throw him over the edge and he was fighting them. Either they succeeded in throwing him over the edge as a result of the struggle, or the struggle was to stop him from falling over the edge and they wanted something else. After all, each of the paintings has shown you an image of how they were going to die, but not the ledge. The ledge doesn't show you how they die. It just shows you somebody stood on top of a roof. Now we have 5 minutes left before we would normally stop. Does anybody need to go immediately if we just sneak a few more minutes in?
It may be 5 or 10, but that's the
Yeah, I
limit.
won't take much. So I've given you a rundown of all the places that you can actually see the ghouls coming out, and I've shown you that the reason there was a scuffle on the roof may not have been actually to throw him over the edge. One of the methods to encounter the ghouls was not the original paintings.
No.
It's from a photo of the paintings. And every week we've played this game, I've warned the clue to tell you what the real problem is going to be at the end of the campaign.
Oh,
Well done on taking all the paintings out, guys. That was important.
Should have burned JD's fucking house down.
It's not just there. A number of the
No.
a number of the photos went to other sources.
yeah, the
Mm.
police got
Yeah.
those.
Yep.
The police got one, and that's in evidence.
Yeah.
They also got a number of negatives, which we didn't specify because when she rolled against it, she eliminated the complication. But that doesn't stop them getting them. It just meant that narratively it didn't stop her doing what she wanted. So Spider managed to still have photos at the newspaper when she sold pictures for the stories. Now, they didn't run a photo of the Chinese worship papers, but they are about to print the financial papers about Noel Collins.
We might
And the last photo of Noel Collins alive was him stood next to the painting of the ledge.
right. So just to be clear, we might be crazy pyromaniacs that are hell bent on burning down the entire of San Francisco. But at least we didn't give the Pallid man a way out. Just saying.
I feel like that was aimed.
Really?
Might have been
What
a
gave
shot
it away?
fired. Might have been.
Well,
And
we
so
did
it
say
is.
we were going to do that.
Mm.
That any interested parties that are still looking to create more chaos and aren't neutral to that would find themselves outside the printers for the cold bulletin, hearing screams from within over the sound of the printing presses. Who's there to see this to the completion?
As in, who's there witnessing that happening?
Yeah, which of you
Not
want to
trying
be
to stop
there
it.
to try and stop what will be the mass production of the ledge?
I think I mean, for Robin, she was just about prepared to burn down the whole monkey house.
Okay.
That's what she was planning, and that's probably what she will try to
There's
do.
a certain thought I had, which is like, you start the fire, I'll just wedge the door shut with the poker and walk away.
I
So you're
mean,
looking at
she truly believes that that she wasn't reassured. I mean, like, you reassured me as a player, but she's not
She has
reassured.
no reason to trust it.
Yeah, by what's happened, and also she can't trust any of the monkey house people because, as far as she's concerned, they were in on it with Warren. So she's quite happy to see them all burn, and that is what she will do. She will take her brother's stuff outside. She will see if Eugene comes back, even if Eugene doesn't come back. She's finding a way to start that fire.
Eugene would come back down from the roof if there's nothing compelling him to.
Yeah.
To jump
So
on. But,
in her,
100%
like, she
behind-
doesn't think about anything else.
I'm 100% behind more pyromania and homicide. I'm always all for that. I mean, I do believe that perhaps the Pallid Man is not the greatest threat to the city anymore. But
Probably not.
So the D12 clue that you got in the first scene is what's giving you the information that I've given you as players. It's the connection that Eugene makes from that clue. That's why I saved it for this.
Yeah. Okay.
You have a D12 conviction that you now know where the real threat is.
So I'm gonna as we come back down, I'm gonna say there are still photos we haven't got.
It's too late. Don't know who she gave them to. Don't know who they gave them to. Don't know what they've done with them. It's too late. I mean, we've taken out Warren. We've taken out Giselle. We've taken out the major players, haven't we? What else can we do?
You were all present in JD's apartment when Nat and JD arranged for a photo of Noel Collin.
I'm not denying that, but these guys need to burn. I have no doubt about that. That room needs to burn.
Let's finish this off and then see what else needs doing, if anything. And we can walk away.
One of these guys gonna get caught.
One day, but like, it's fine. Yeah, we're gonna ask the building mic before we leave somehow.
Sorry, Dave, say that part again.
We're gonna ask in the building before we go.
So Monkey House goes up in flames. I, as a kind gentleman, question the sense in that, but
I think at this stage, even the slightest hint of connection to this case is going to result in fire.
Are you going to the newspaper?
I don't think we know about the newspaper. We know about
What I'm saying is that your D12 clue is putting it all together.
Okay, well, maybe we've got to make sure that none of those pictures get printed.
So you spend a portion of the afternoon tracking down where that's going to be, what's going on, what's happened.
And by the time
potentially catching up with Nat, potentially catching up with JD before they.
I mean, I think Robin would have walked away. I think she would be like, I think that's done.
It's down to Dave to try and finish this.
I think that if it is that conviction at that stage, I've dropped the poker to help seal the door, but I've walked out with my trusty fire axe from before. I've got whatever I can flammable available. I'm heading there, and I'm just going to fight anything that comes out of those pictures.
Okay. So it is. Right. We'll finish with Dave. We'll finish with Dave barreling himself into the printers to try and put a stop to the print run. As you can see in the chat on Roll20, a number of hardy print workers have been stirring as the sheets and sheets and sheets of repetitive printing of the picture of Noel and his painting go shooting past. So you come in and the place is filled with pallid ghouls as they are dragging people up the stairs towards the roof. And you watch as they're literally pulling themselves out of the newsprint as it spins past. And then one of them turns to look directly at you, Dave. And I will shock you not at all that you recognize it.
Yay.
Oh, that's a natty outfit.
He looks a little hardened from previous, but he is built from the tattered remnants of newspapers that he pulled together to form his body. This is your painty man.
I
As
missed
you've named him.
I've not seen.
Sorry?
Was that on Discord?
This
On
one's
stream.
gone on to Twitch.
On the stream.
Simon,
Oh, right.
drop that in for us
Aha,
for everybody to have a good look at.
Oh, right. Okay.
So the two of you scrabble and scuffle, and you're laying into it with the fire axe as literally hundreds of the pallid ghouls seem to turn from the individual workers and help to reinforce this one. So every time you take a chop out of it with the fire axe, another one sort of melds to replace the parts until the blue paint that Nat splashed on him is almost diluted down by the number of pieces of newspaper that have strapped themselves onto his body to reinforce his strength. And every axe blow is accompanied with steps that take you closer and closer to the gantries above and then onto the roof. And that's where they lift you, not towards the ledge, not towards the edge of the roof to throw you down, but into their own arms. The fire that you've lit by this point below you is burning away the remnants of what's being printed, and people are fleeing the building, and the embers are lifting up around you as the combined sort of swell of bodies lifts you higher still. And then your mythos is just blowing you out of the water, which is why I've taken over the narrative. You are being taken out by the mythos at this point, Dave. You're in too deep. You may have saved San Francisco behind you, but you're a lost cause, as the effect of the pallid ghouls is to lift you out of the stratosphere. The embers around you are swept into the air with you, and the shapes of the pallid men seem to whirl together around you as you all fed into the pallid man itself. Something that no one on Earth sees from below, but this has pulled you out of your world and barely notices you as it engulfs, as you are engulfed by the pallid man, and your mind dissolves into the rot of knowing that no amount of drinking will let you forget this.
Pretty standard ending to my characters in Cthulhu games, yeah.
Well, I thought I'd deliver. So I want to thank you and everybody that's taken part. If we do a quick round out of how everybody's lives end, Dave, Eugene becomes one with the cosmos as he's gobbled up by an astral entity.
His influence changes tactics for the pallid man from this fourth point forward. Whilst paper is important, fire is more important.
Robin, can she return to her studies? Will she reconnect with her family?
No, like her best hope would be becoming a nun, but like she's well beyond that. She's in an asylum. That's where she spends the rest of her days.
When found by the police, finally, it's clear that her insanity is the plea that she puts on, and she is not a put on. She is institutionalized.
She's probably insane, yeah.
JD and Nat, we're looking at Thelma and Louising it to Europe. Does that plan go well?
Yeah, our plan, we suddenly have a bunch of, and it's not suspicious that we have a bunch of cash in the 1930s. So we go onto a plane, and do we go to the UK where everybody else speaks English, or do we go? Well, I speak Chinese, so we could go to China, but where do we go?
Sorry, my mic was muted. We could travel Europe a little bit.
Yeah.
Get some
Travel
good
Europe.
shots.
Yeah, get some good shots. I
more-
continue writing some. I continue writing my reports. This is and turn them into different newspaper.
Are you the
War
creators?
2 is starting. We go somewhere.
Yeah.
I was going to say, are you the creators of the Lonely Planet eventually? Is that what happens? Like your travels become some sort of blog that, you know, you're well before your time.
Sure.
Indeed, I see all of that in your futures, but I also potentially see whatever passes for Interpol having an invested interest in finding the third party that was reported to be involved in these arson attacks in San Francisco. There are still open elements to the case. They never do find Eugene, who Robin made reference to often in her rantings. The outcome is better for some than most Cthulhu characters ever have any rights to claiming. So well done to Nat and JD on taking the out when it was available. And thank you all four of you for playing along in what has been the more epic version of what is often a 4-hour tournament game in convention circles. I'm really pleased to have had you all on board for this. So this is the end of the Pallid Man Triptych. All will be available for view on demand with very little interruption, hopefully there. And you can watch all 6 episodes and even the 7 episodes, counting the setup episode we did as session 0 on YouTube. And I believe even on Twitch for a short while. Is that not the case? But if you are watching this on view on demand, please be kind and rewind for other users. And I hand over to Helen for one last time.
Thank you.
To do the wrap up of the other sessions.
If you've enjoyed this particular brand of quite horrific chaos, really, then please come join the Discord, where you can join in other sorts of chaos, including discussions of systems. And let's not start that again. As Mike said, if you want to catch up on any of the Pallid Man Triptych or any of the other fare that Chaotic Neutral has provided for you over the time it's been running, then please go to our YouTube channel. The links for those are down below somewhere. Coming up this week on Thursday, we have more Mage for you, starting from 8 o'clock. Benefactor on Friday? Yes?
Yes.
Yay! Benefactor's back on Friday.
Yeah.
And then that will be it, because there's no more Numenera on a Monday and there'll be no more Pallid Man on a Tuesday. But I think I can say there will be stuff in the offing reasonably soon, hopefully. Stay tuned.
Yes.
Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
and thank you to all the viewers. It was fun seeing the feedback on there as well. So excellent. Cheers, guys.
Yeah.
All the best.
All right. Good night all.
Bye.